Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles. One of those is on the map for Ballers fans. Next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
You know, a little mood music to bring us in tonight for the season finale of Ballers, episode 10. Yay area. Little Chance the Rapper.
Summer
You know,
Friends don't
a
stay.
Chicago influence, huh?
Summer friends don't stay.
They don't stay. They're meant for a short period of time, right?
Like this panel.
Like this panel.
Like
Yeah,
this
we're a
show.
little smaller tonight. I'm Jill Munroe. Thank you for checking into the Ballers After Show. You can follow me everywhere at Stiletto Jill. And tonight the panel's a little light, but we have a special guest, so that makes up for it. To my left, you know him as TTD. We have Mr. Carl McDowell joining us.
Round of applause.
Round of applause,
Thank you.
please. You have to tell them where they can find you because you know they want to follow, like, subscribe.
On Instagram, Carl Mac 07. Facebook, Carl McDowell. And at Twitter, at Carl D. McDowell.
A lot of ways to get at him. And Nate, holding
What's
it
up,
down.
guys? Here for the finale. Here to wrap it up. It's Nate Miller. You can find me on all social media at DogLikeNate.
It's the final episode, yay area. You know, we've gone full circle this whole season. And now we're at the moment of truth where Spencer, Joe, and Anderson management come to find out if they are going to take over the NFL, get their stadium deal. Last week we saw them lose their what is Wayne Hastings? Partner,
Backer.
land provider, backer,
Snake.
all of those things. We saw that go away, so we're waiting to see what's going to happen because, you know, Spencer, he's always got a plan brewing, hatching as a way that he can come back for the NFL. So, Nate, how did you feel? And Carl, how did you feel, you know, kind of from the inside out? How did you feel about where we ended up at to open, I guess, the final episode as far as the NFL and Las Vegas and Spencer's quest?
You mean from last episode?
From last episode, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I like that they threw the little twist in here that he turned on them. Although I wasn't really surprised because outside of like the early Hastings, he's always kind of been shady.
Yeah.
They haven't really set him up to be like a trustworthy person. So I mean, I wasn't really surprised, but I don't know. I was excited that we were getting like resolution, that we were finally gonna, you know, make it or break it, so to speak. But
You
Yeah.
seem a little underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that. Let's talk about Ricky so we can talk to our guest. So we see Ricky is once again pondering his future. You know, the Patriots aren't messing with him anymore because he was very forthcoming about his concussions. And now we see him contemplating the end of his career and taking off to LA to go chase after Amber. This 2-episode about face. So now he's in love with Amber with his ever faithful weed guru, because TTD always has a bong, a blunt, something in hand, espousing wisdom from the trees. So let's talk about that. You know, professional friends, they get left behind often when players retire, move on to women, because they're replaced. So, you know, what do we think about Ricky running off to LA to go chase Amber?
TTD thinks it's not a good idea. I think he probably thought he had a couple more years left in him, but TTD was going to tell him to retire because of the whole concussion thing. So I think he doesn't like him running off on the family, which is me and Dennis, but he got to go take care of his business. He may be retired, he may not be. You never know, you know. You never know with ballers.
He could just start off that way.
He could start off that way. He could Spencer this thing.
yeah, I mean, I think TTD definitely. I don't think it's coming from a selfish place. I think he does care for Ricky, and especially when he talks about the retirement thing, that he wants his friend to be okay too. I think his hesitation really comes from the responsibilities of being a father and jumping into this relationship with Amber, and like how rocky it's already started. And that's, especially when you get even more involved, it just makes it harder to get out of it,
Yeah.
So I think his is coming more from that aspect. Although I'm sure at the same time that he doesn't really want Ricky to leave because then his whole life changes.
It's a loss of income. There's no retirement plan for being a professional friend. You know.
Now I feel like I could suck up the Dennis a little bit and carry on with that whole
He
thing.
kind of likes you a little bit now.
I mean, but what does Dennis do all day?
Nothing. He gambles.
Right.
He tweets.
He tweets. He's, Dennis was LeVar Ball before LeVar Ball got popping.
right.
The NFL
he inspired
LeVar Ball.
him.
Yeah. So we see Ricky getting ready to take off and go out to LA for other ventures. And then there is Charles, who we talked about has kind of had one of the most interesting arcs this season, as we've really seen him grown from a place that sort of, we know where Charles started. We know that he was transitioning from being a player to working into the front office and dealing with those wares. And now we see him dealing with the aftermath of Seifert being fired, him sort of being a lame duck as far as his position, and looking at the original LA job, I guess, with the LA Chargers is no longer available. They weren't serious. So now he's trying to come over to the side that looks like they're winning a little bit this season, the Rams side. So how do you feel about Charles's character arc and where he's headed? And do we think that Charles is going to end up in LA?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, definitely.
For sure. Yeah, and I agree with you. We've talked about it multiple times. I think he has been one of the best things about this show this season. I mean, throughout the show and its run collectively, but especially this season, he's gotten a lot of growth and, a lot of great scenes and dialogue. But especially the scene we got this episode, it was nice. We've been building up to it. It's, again, one of these moments we've been building up to it. They've been laying the groundwork. Let's see him stand up for himself, and he comes through it, and it feels good, and it feels natural. It doesn't feel forced or anything, and it's like, it feels like we've accomplished something. You get to be excited for Chuck. It's a nice moment.
And being that his wife is a physician, she can work anywhere. So now seems like a good time to sort of get into one of our sponsors that covers the medical field.
Of course.
I'm going to throw it to you, Nate.
Speaking of medical professionals, there is a brand new show coming to ABC tonight, coming on right after Dancing with the Stars, called The Good Doctor. It's actually a story of a young man who has autism, and he is a savant, and his name is Sean Murphy, and he becomes a surgical resident at a big hospital at this really young age. So he's like this,
like Doogie
Like
Howard,
Doogie Howser,
or
right,
with
but
a
he's a-
special situation.
But he's a genius surgeon who can see certain things that other people can't because of his autism and things of that nature. So it's about him dealing, trying to connect with these people and struggle with the personal relationships that, things that you struggle with as you're autistic, but also him using his remarkable gifts to be able to help people and save people every week. So there's lots of really talented people behind it. David Shore is producing it. He produced House. And there's also lots of big stars. Freddie Heimer, who was in Bates Motel, and also Richard Schiff, who was in West Wing. So there's quite a good variety of talented cast members. It's a very anticipated show. And if you're into medical dramas, if you're into, those types of things with people healing people and the dramas that comes around with dealing with the type of thing that autism deals with, you probably enjoy the show. You probably find it very interesting.
So ABC, check it out.
Yeah, make sure you check it out on ABC.
So since we're talking about careers, I'm going to throw it back to you, Carl. How did you get cast in the role on Ballers? Because that's, you have had a prominent role in all 4 seasons. I feel like your character has been very integral and also helping Ricky along, sort of Ricky's conscience at times. So
I auditioned. I auditioned for it, but I auditioned a few times. I auditioned for Reggie's part originally.
Oh, okay.
And so I went in maybe 2 or 3 times for that, and then didn't get that one. And then they asked me to come in for TTD, and they gave me the her scene. So like when I'm stoned on the couch watching her, and I remember that night I got the scene. I got stoned on the couch and watched her.
Like, let me figure this out. Let me bring
out.
some realism
The
to it.
method actor.
Right.
Very respectable.
I went in the next day and gave that read, and I had to go in a few more times and give the read, but eventually I got the part.
And your part has been, like I said, one of the most consistent as far as all 4 seasons. So how has it been sort of working on this particular show? Has this been your first featured role in this manner, like in a series role?
Yeah, it is. This is my first one. And so I imagine I'm really spoiled because this is like a fun set. If you're not working, you still go to set to watch other people work. You have fun on set. Everybody's laughing and joking all the time. And so I imagine that this is how it is for everybody all the time. But it's fun. It's fun. I love it.
Okay, so there's a little secret that we were talking about earlier. You're actually in a band.
I am in a band.
That's a new thing for you. Kind of. Have you always been into music? Like, what made you decide to pick up a bass? That's an interesting instrument to choose.
I've always been into music. Like, I've always listened to music, learned every song on the radio. Like, music makes me happy. So if I'm cleaning, I'm listening to music. But I never tried to play music until now. My friend was, we play sports together, and he was just like, hey, let's play some music in my basement. We'll cover some songs. And we just went in his basement, covered some songs. I bought a bass, and they taught me how to play it. And then we started making our own music. And then we toured Germany, and we played in LA. We played the Hotel Cafe and the Troubadour. And it's becoming a whole thing. It's a new experience that I didn't even know I had. I didn't even know I could play a bass at all a year and a half ago. But this is fun now. I'm a bass man.
You're a bass man. So
awesome.
You guys were kind of talking about that. Okay, so we're going to venture back into Ballers. Like, I'm doing this kind of in and out thing. So career trajectories, let's talk about more so about the deal with Anderson, and they go to meet with the NFL. Let's kind of jump ahead there. So Candace is obviously blocking. She has a side deal going with Hastings that she indicates that her NFL brethren, they already know about that. Do we believe her? Like, what do we think about Candace's character? Because I feel like she's mad shady. Even though I know she has some bitterness about Spencer, I'm like, do I want to trust her? Do you think that Spencer brought up a good point? Do you think that, why did they need Spencer to still get on board with that deal? Kind of didn't make sense to me, because once they had Wayne, what did they really need Anderson management for? Could have made it work without them. So I didn't understand what that was about. Was it about controlling them since they didn't want them in anyway?
Yeah, I think I mean, my assumption is that it was more just about not having anybody to compete with or anything like that, because at that time it was still a competing bid. It wasn't like they had taken it over and it was join us or you're out. It was, look, there's now another bid. It's a really good deal. I'm going to profit from it. Look, you can join us, and then the bid that I'm on the side of now is going to win no matter what, because there's no other competition, or go up against us and probably lose. So it makes sense to me. It's a win-win situation. She either gets the benefits of them or they lose and she wins, in at least how she expected it to play out.
Do we think there was sexual tension there?
Oh, yeah.
I think there was on her end. I don't think there was from
You don't
him.
think Spencer was checking for her at all?
No, I think his mind was elsewhere. I don't think he was in that place, but I think part of her power plays and things of that nature were like look at me, don't you want
to feel desirable to him?
Right.
Okay.
And especially after, how they were introduced and that, what he said to her and what pissed her off initially. So
Yeah.
I think especially with their last few lines of dialogue, I really think that was some of her motivation to be a little extra shady.
Okay, so let's bring it back, because Spencer is never the winner in his relationship saga. Do we think that we'll see Chloe again, or that relationship's just kind of done and over with?
So. I think that's,
Chloe's a wrap.
I think, unfortunately, that was this isn't going to work out conversation.
Speech.
That was just kind of subtle and
It's you,
yeah.
it's you, Spencer, and
it's all and I mean all part of it is the business situation also, the Hastings relationship, things of that nature. But yes, it's him too.
it's Spencer.
Yeah, and I was surprised. I was pretty
Tame.
clingy of him to be like, well, come work for me,
It
to try to, because that's pretty out of character for him.
Yeah.
At least from what we see
Yeah,
of his
that's
relationship
true.
with women.
That's
they
true.
leave. He's like, all right, bye, see you later. I've got another.
So you thought he liked this one?
I think so. I think in I don't know if that was him actually liking her, or if it's more of him
Feeling guilty.
feeling the clock of like, well, I need to find someone who I like and likes me and I can have a kid with or something. I think it's more of that.
Okay. Yeah, I always say that men don't really, just whoever happens to be around when they decide they're ready to make the transition from single to coupledom, whether that's marriage or like long-term living, whatever. It's just whoever happens to be there when that feeling strikes. So, am I wrong?
I plead the fifth.
Okay. So,
Don't comment. Don't comment.
Don't comment. It's a trap. It's a setup.
We can't represent all.
And I'd immediately just like,
hands off, hands off.
Don't worry. See, normally
These
it's
are
me
my
and,
thoughts.
and three other girls. And this is me. I'm like,
He's the
I have
only
to be
one.
very careful about what I say.
So now, okay, well, we can put me on the hot seat a little bit. We see Ricky get to L.A., and he meets Amber's mom, who opens the door and is the lovely Lisa Ray. We didn't get Amber's mom name. It's just Amber's mom, and she knows who Ricky is, and she's like, flowers, I haven't gotten those in a long time. Come on in. She didn't even give her daughter a heads up. Where's the loyalty? Where's the loyalty?
Give him a little shit or anything. Even a little shit.
Nothing. Just, hey, baby, football player, NFL, my grandbaby's daddy. Come on in.
I mean, I'm guessing that as Amber's been at her mom's house, crying and whatever, being emotional, that she's like, don't worry, he's coming. He's gonna come here. And I'm guessing that this is just her.
But you still have to give him some sort of a hard time.
He should know that. Yeah, he should know that.
Just give him a hard time.
A little bit. I mean, he just let his baby's mama take off across the country. No word. No ultrasound, I guess. But he said he's been calling and she's been pushing him to the left. So I guess all it took was him coming there and she was starstruck in love. I guess we'll see how that relationship plays out next season.
I guess she needed an actual indication that he cared.
gesture.
Yeah, more than just a phone call.
He didn't come with a ring. He just came.
For a second, I thought that
I thought he was about to break out a ring when he gave her the camera.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to record himself proposing, not that he was going to record himself saying, hey, guess what? It's time for me to hang up my cleats like Marshawn Lynch. He didn't even send you a text. He didn't even, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even give you the text. You found out on Instagram, too, like a side check.
Damn.
Man. It's so sad. So we know kind of where Ricky's going to go next season in LA. Potentially 2 teams there that he could make his comeback for. His good friend Charles will be the GM of at least one of them.
Charles will put him on a team.
Right, and ASM will have an office there so Spencer can get in and do what he does. Does this mean we're not going to see Brent anymore? Mr. Anderson, is he going to stay in Miami?
I mean, I don't think we'll see him as much as we saw him this season. I think we'll still see him.
We'll still see him?
Yeah, I think we'll still see him. I hope we do. I've come to like him a lot more from this season.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I like the brother storyline between the sibling rivalry between Julian and he, because that's how, kids are, and there's always going to be someone that's a little more successful, a little taller, a little whatever, the pretty one. And so I like that tension in that story. Do you have siblings? Can you relate?
I do. I have a little sister that we fought all the time.
See, I'm an only child, so.
Yeah.
You're like,
that must have been nice. I had 2 sisters, and I had to fight all the time with them.
You know what happens with only children? You get lonely, and you sometimes have pretend friends and things like that. And it sounds really nice that you want siblings until you realize that you get less.
But you also don't have to compete for your parents' love.
Okay. Okay.
It's a two-sided
you
street.
compete for their love.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot until this episode, just because it felt kind of forced in that we've seen them go at it, and we've seen them try to pull it together and be like, all right, you guys are brothers, get over it. This is good for both of you, and it didn't work last time. So why all of a sudden now does it? I give my arm to give my brother back, so all of a sudden now you've got a story about your brother that we've never heard of,
right,
and now
Spencer
that's enough
has a
to
brother.
turn the tide. Is they're like, fuck you.
Hey, well, the thing, there's a lot of money involved. Money can soothe a lot of ailments.
The money was involved before.
I
There's
know,
not any more money now than there was before.
But I feel like with things like that, when you can get in on something like the NFL, although the NBA would be the more prestigious one, in my opinion, right now. Switching, because, NBA, NFL.
Ooh.
Anyway.
I watch NHL, so.
Are you a hockey fan?
Yeah, I like to watch real sports.
Where
you can hit people and it's
They
legal.
do hit
they
hockey
hit people
now.
in the NFL.
And they get in.
No, I mean, you really can't hit them no more.
Well, no, not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
You can lightly shove them.
You can hit in hockey, and what they do on those skates is amazing.
Have you been to a Kings game?
I have not been to a Kings game. I casually say that I watch, but not really. I throw back to the legacy of Wayne Gretzky. I embrace that we won a title a few years back, and that's about it. That's about it. But I appreciate it.
Just wait. First time you go, you'll be like, wow, this is really fun.
People have been telling me that for years.
It's really fun to watch.
It really
the other
is.
sports, I like playing them. I like playing football, but I just don't like to watch it. For me, it's just not enough constant. Same thing with baseball. It's just not enough constant.
Yeah, I went to the Dodger game today. That was an adventure. Okay, so all right, we wrapped it up in a bow. Spencer and crew got the opportunity. It was handed to them. They couldn't keep it in Oakland though, like they wanted to get that grassroots connection. So they turned down the Vegas deal. So we wrapped that up. Charles, we don't know what's happening, but we're pretty certain that he's going to end up in LA. We know Ricky's probably going to be there with Amber raising their child. We don't know where TTD is going to be. and Dad. We need to see Dad. Like, I'm going to miss Dennis. We have to see that. But hopefully they'll come. So what predictions do you have, and do you have, for season 5?
Your AFTERBUZZ TV.
Is this season 4 or season 5? This is season 3.
This is
Season 4. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. I'm like blessing. Season 4. What would you like to see?
I don't know. They didn't really give us a lot. That was one of the things I was a little upset with, is how it ended, especially with our main characters. Like, basically, we spent this entire season building up this deal. It fell through. Well, I mean, it changed. It got approved. Didn't get what they wanted, so they just said fuck it, and then went back to what they were doing before. And now the plan is just to expand out of nowhere. That's not explained or anything at all. So I don't know. I'm not going to touch that. But as far as predictions I can make, I think next season is going to be Ricky. The first half is going to be him, being a dad, coping with his, illness and recovering and things of that nature. And then I'm assuming the second half will be getting him to get back into playing or something. And then by the end of the second season, he'll be like back to playing, or then by the end of the next season, he'll be back to playing. So that in the off season, when the actual football season would be, he would be playing. So that he only misses 1 year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think for sure Charles is going to get, the job, and so he's going to be way more stressed. I'm curious to see if the family moves, if they
have
full
to
relocate.
Yeah.
I guess they have.
For sure.
She's a doctor.
She's a doctor, but I mean, I think with her encouraging him to go for it,
Yeah.
you know what that means.
Yeah.
If you're involved with a professional athlete or a former athlete that is now, whether it be a head coach or an executive in the office, you know that at any given time, realistically, you're going to have to move at least for a portion of the year.
Yeah.
So I think she's okay with that. She can practice anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Carl, do you have any predictions?
My predictions is Ricky would probably go to LA for Amber, and he'll bring me and Dennis, and we can fight over Amber's mom.
I would like to see that. I would like to see them both kind of flirt with her.
Like
With the
jokingly,
one-liners?
and she like shots them down. I don't want anything to happen. That would be a really weird family dynamic. Hey,
if-
here's your
if Dennis
grandpa and your grandma from opposite sides of the family.
Well, I mean,
are
hopefully
dating.
Dennis don't win. I'd like to win that.
So you could be his,
So see, then
so you
Uncle
could be the-
TTD.
Uncle Daddy.
No, he's the,
Uncle Granddaddy.
He's the grandpa.
Uncle Granddaddy.
Oh no.
Because he's a friend. It sounds like a Kardashian
You know what, actually,
family drama.
I like that.
Right?
There we go. And then we got
Daddy.
somebody on board.
Maybe, see? We can make
That's
that
what I want to
happen.
say. I want more Travis Scott. I want to know what's up with him and Hastings.
Yeah, they're gone. We won't see them ever
I don't
again.
know. I mean, now he's got a kid on the way, so maybe
He has to work.
it's gonna
You know
be
what?
implications.
We will never see them again. Moving on.
He's gonna need a new manager, a financial manager.
Wow. A sports one? It
I
could be
mean,
they're going to make the extension into entertainment. I mean,
Yeah,
that could happen.
they could if they go
cross
to LA.
branding.
I think
yeah.
that's the only way that they can justify. Oh, we're randomly expanding now. It's like we're not just sports now. We're doing all types of whatever
Well,
it is.
I think because one of the benefits, if they do move it to LA, which seems to make sense, is that there's 6 teams here: 2 soccer, 2 baseball, 2 football, 2 NBA teams.
Mm-hmm.
So they can branch off into wherever they choose and still fly off into the other areas.
Yeah,
back to
that
Miami.
makes sense.
So my prediction is just that even though it's been heavily football, NFL based, I think that you kind of saw that with Steph Curry
Yeah.
in the early episode, just guessing. I think that we are going to branch out into more
up.
sports, even though Spencer is still an NFL guy. I think that will still be the core.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's probably the best direction to take the show.
And I think Ricky is going to come back playing again, too. And maybe shout out to Suzette. We'll see Ricky's mom, because that is one of our other panelists has been really concerned these past 2 seasons. Where is Ricky's mom, and why is it that we never hear anything of it? Do you have the answer to that? Do we know what happened to Ricky's mom?
For a second, I thought that was Ricky's mom that
Me
answered the door.
too. I thought he was going to see his mom. I thought something happened. He was going to LA, and then I was like, oh. No, it's Amber's mom. Okay, I'm here for the grandparents getting involved, though. So we'll see what happens. So basically, that is season 3 of Ballers. You know, so much to look forward to. Maybe.
Yeah.
Some excitement. I mean, there's lots of places it can go. You know, we only got a year to sweat it out. We'll be looking for Carl at other places. You know, don't forget that he played Vandross in Son of Anarchy.
That's right.
Like classic episodes there. You know, we wish we could have seen that expand a little bit. And then I saw that you got an episode of Roadies before that went away. I was really interested in that sort of band life show and sort of the background and the time period. So.
And I actually auditioned for the bassist on that. It was between me and Katero, and Katero got it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that would have been fun, man. That show was really fun to shoot. It was fun to watch. I wonder why it got canceled. It was a good show.
Yeah. I don't know.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to check it out.
I think it cost too much money. I think they like spent a lot.
Because it,
That
you
happens a
know,
lot.
was the whole realistic look of the 70s and sort of. You know,
It's just,
going
and it's
there.
hard to maintain. Too.
Yeah.
Like, because the deeper you get into it, the more detailed you have to get. So.
Exactly. But we hope to see TTD in LA.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's my prediction.
Come back.
Ballers is going to be in LA. We know it shot in LA this year, but I think it will be set
I think we're pretty-
in LA next season.
I think it's pretty,
You know,
pretty 99.
kind of telescoping that, right? So, Nate, tell them where they can find you.
Guys, as always, you can find me on social media at Dog Like Nate. That's dog with 2 G's. And
Carl, please tell them where they can find you to connect with you, send you love.
Instagram at CarlMac07.
And tell them the name of your band. We didn't cover that.
The
We left
Sandwich. Get the Sandwich on Instagram and Facebook.
See, go after that and follow him. I'm Jill Munroe. You can follow me everywhere at Stiletto Jill. That's season 3 of Ballers in the books. Make sure that you are checking out AfterBuzz TV for more after shows. Follow us, like, and subscribe. Make sure you're leaving thumbs up on this video because we like that. Leave us comments. We read them. We respond back. And we will see you next season. Thank you for checking us out. We'll see you next year.
bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you
you
later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.